Hey folks, hope everyone's doing great, having a great day, great evening, great time. My video today, I want to talk to you about opting out, and can we really opt out of society? Can we really do something different? Can we really have some peace of mind by opting out of what we're doing? And I've been pondering this question for a while, maybe almost a year. I'm thinking about it, and I've listened to a lot of podcasts of folks that says, yeah, you can simply just opt out of work, go and do something else, retire, have a simpler life. Um, but is it realistic? And I don't think it is. In my circumstances, is not. I mean, I have to look after, you know, I don't have, I have to look after some of my family, some family obligations. Um, got my mom, my wife. My kids are pretty self-sufficient. They don't need me financially or anything, but I do provide a home for uh, my youngest son. He still lives with me, and I don't think he has to, but it's convenient. It works for him. And my other older boys are all living on their own. And I think even my youngest son, we talk about, can we opt out of this and do something else? Can we get a farm somewhere, be self-sufficient, and live our lives? And it'd be fun to do. I think we would both love to do something like that and live more of a minimalist lifestyle. Um, but is it realistic? Is it something realistically you could do? And for me, I don't know. I don't think it is. I want it to be, but I don't think it's realistic. Um, I've built a life in this society, have houses, have, you know, things, amenities that make your life comfortable. But at my age, in my 50s, and that's what this video is about, guys in their 50s, 40s, late 40s, 50s, 60s who are thinking about retirement or thinking about just doing something different with your life because you're burnt out from your job. And if you're burnt out from your job and you want to do something else, or you got laid off and you're that older guy and you're just having a hard time finding that next job because let's face it, there is some ageism out there. What do you do? Like, what are you going to do? So you retire. So you got to look at if you have enough saved up to retire. And I think I do. I have enough. I have enough not to retire the way I want. Like, I'd love to retire. Like, I don't need a yacht or anything like that, or a sports car or anything like that. But I'd like to have a nice retirement, which I think I could do it. I just not 100% sure, and that's probably why I'm making this video, to share that with you. I'm not 100% sure if I can retire and just, you know, kind of opt out of the mainstream society where I have to, do the daily grind, get up early morning, work all day. What else? You have your supper, watch a bit of TV, go to bed, and do it all over 5 days a week, and then even on the weekends, you got your chores to do around the house. You got to mow the lawn, you got to shovel the snow, whatever it is that you have to do where you live, and see some family maybe on a Sunday, uh, go to church, and then that's it. And then you're back on the grind Monday morning again, and you're doing it all over. I don't know if that's what I want to do for the rest of my life anymore. All right. I didn't really think about it a whole lot before because I did it. It was kind of automatic. And as I got older, I started thinking about it, and I really just don't want to do it. I kind of want to do something else. And there's a lot of things I can do. I got a lot of good skills. Like I mentioned in my last videos, I come from the software world. I used to be a sales executive for a long time, managed sales teams, have a lot of skills, a lot of good business acumen I can use in other areas. And some of the things I've thought about is maybe starting up my own businesses. One of the things I've been thinking about and pondering, and talking to a good friend of mine about doing something together, and hopefully we can do something together, because I think that will give me a good solid income, but still give me the freedom to live the lifestyle I want. Now, I always think about how much freedom will it give me, because at the end of the day, even if you own the business, somebody's got to manage it. If you have employees, you have to manage them. You have to grow it. Um, there's things that you get involved, but if we do this, and I talked to him about this, if this is something I do, it's something I do for maybe the next 5 years, 10 years tops, if it's fun, and then we sell the business and move on and retire and make enough money to do it. And the way I'm doing it, like I said, I'm in the software world that I came from, so it's going to be a fully remote business. I can do it from anywhere, anytime. I can live in the Caribbean and do this. I can live in Central America and do this. I can live in Mexico, anywhere that I want and work, which is something I really want to do. So that'll make my life a little more fun. So yeah, you know, but then I can just retire and then play pickleball and do nothing else and enjoy life. And I don't know. That's the other part of it, right? Just enjoy life. Yeah, I could probably go and find another job, but it is getting harder as I get older. It is getting harder to find the job that I want, and I think that's going to be a challenge for a lot of people as you get into your 50s. Like I'm in my mid 50s now, and there's a lot of people actually who I could work for, but is it, do I want to do that work? It's going to be rewarding and fulfilling, and there's still going to be the pressures from the management, the executive teams, that you're going to have to hit your certain goals and targets, and again, like I said, I'm in sales, so there's always going to be goals and targets to hit, um, and it can be challenging to do that. It will be. It's not can. It will be. I mean, I know I can sell, I can do that, but there's always going to be some sort of pressure, and you're selling your time for some money, and the money is great, but if you don't use that money because your time is all taken up doing other things, what's the point? And I keep thinking, we live in this material world where we're just consumers, and am I just, accumulating money to buy stuff, or is the money there so I can have more enjoyable time? And if I'm getting this money to have more fun, more time, then it does make sense because I'm working and I don't have the time. I'm spending my 40, 50, maybe probably 60 hours a week is what I typically do, is spending that time with in a job that eh, I don't, maybe I like it a bit, or you know maybe I don't like it at all. I'm spending that time there and I'm getting that money, but what am I trading off for? The other thing is, I know a lot of you are saying, yeah, well, Derek, what are you talking about? Like, we got bills to pay, we got mortgages, we have kids to raise. I get that. Some of you guys do. I do too. I don't have young kids to raise anymore, so I'm out of that. I've finished that, and I would have never quit my job at that time. I would have felt burnt out, and I did. When my kids were younger, there were some times where I really wanted to quit. I really wanted to leave, but I couldn't do it because I had obligations to my family, putting food on the table, making sure the mortgage is paid, making sure all the bills are paid for, and yeah, made sure we did all of that. And I worked hard and did that and never stopped doing it. But you get to a point in your life where you say, can I, can I now retire? Can I don't have those same responsibilities. And because I don't have those same responsibilities, can I do something different? And I think that's the key, is when you don't have those responsibilities. Um, can you do something different? Should you do something different? And part of it is, I think you should do something different. I think you should take that chance and move on. But you've built this automatic life for yourself, and that's the challenge, that to break that automatic routine of working those 5 days a week, having those 2 days off, working those 5 days a week, and doing that, getting the 2 weeks vacation, going somewhere, coming back, and doing it all over again. um, that's the hard part, the challenging part, right? Is to break that routine, because we're all programmed to do that. Like, think of yourself when you're young and you first time you go to school in kindergarten, when they start introducing you to structure in your life, and you're now in full-time school and you're spending, I don't know, 6 to 8 hours in a classroom. You got to sit there, you got to do work somebody tells you to do, you have to listen, pay attention, you have to ask to go to the bathroom. It's very regimented, And yeah, you're doing all of these, learning all of this things that you need, like life skill. Well, not life skills, but work skills. I'm going to say some of it's life skill. I mean, you got to learn to read and write. You have to learn how to do basic arithmetic. But some of the other things I thought I learned in school, I was like, what am I ever going to use it for? And I'm sure a lot of you thought some of that. Um, and then you, but they don't necessarily teach you how to think critically in school. They teach you how to learn or listen to instructions because the teacher says, "Hey, you got to get this exam done, this test, or do this project and have it ready by this date, put it together this way and present it this way," and you learn those skills, and even the skills of like stand in front of the classroom, do your presentation, um, all of this stuff. And those are all skills you learn because when you get into the work world, that's exactly what you're doing. So you're just getting programmed to go and get a job, and that's what they do in America. Uh, they program you for a job, not to be a critical thinker, not to go there and figure out how to earn money different ways, um, how to go and get a job and earn money. And that's what America teaches you how to do. And we're all there, and I've been programmed the same way. I mean, I went from kindergarten all the way up. I mean, I grew up here where I had to learn all of this stuff and got programmed. And it's funny, when I turned 50, that's where I started really thinking about this. Like, and I never really thought about it until my kids got to a certain age. I think I felt a little more freedom and started thinking, do I have to do this corporate job? Do I have to keep working? And I thought I didn't. I thought there had to be another way. And in 2022, I quit I had a really good corporate job, and it wasn't. I was just at a point where I just couldn't do it anymore, and I quit and went to a smaller company, thinking it was going to be different, and it actually wasn't. And the company wasn't super small. I mean, they were still sizable, but it wasn't that different. It was still a same corporate grind, and I did that for about a year, and then I decided to quit that and go to an even smaller company, about half the size. And that was actually worse. It was more of a grind because I had to do more things. There were less people there, less resources. So I was picking up and doing a lot more things just you do a lot more work when you're in a smaller company. And then I thought, wow. So I went back to it. And I lasted there. Well, I only lasted there a year because the owner ended up selling the company. So when he sold, I was like, I would have stayed and made it work. But then I was like, okay, I got to find something else now. And when you're older, it's harder. And I reached out to a network of people that I knew out there in the industry, and landed a job right away. Not an issue there. But again, it was one of those bigger companies, and all the corporate stuff you have to deal with again. And it was fine. I kind of said to myself, yeah, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. Um, and then a year after that, um, another company, a fellow that I knew, reached out to me and said, hey, asked me if I wanted to come to work for him and help him grow their business. And we talked about it, and to me, it felt like it was going to be fun, to help them grow and to help them do, put processes in place, because I'm going to use my skills, because of my other job, I wasn't using my skills. I was just kind of going through the motions, and I was, it was good, and I wasn't using a ton of all my skills. And I thought, working for the smaller company, again, I got into the smaller company, and I'm kind of entrepreneurial. I think that way, very entrepreneurial. So I said, yeah, it'd be fun to help these guys grow their business, and I got into it. Um, and then when they ran into some financial crisis, and I should have realized that working for small companies, because the one before that, they ended up selling. And again, being a smaller company, they had to sell. And I did this, and these guys ran into some financial challenge and just said, hey, sorry, we have to part ways, because we can't, they can't, I guess, pay my salary. And I get it, and I get it. I mean, business has got to do what's right for the business. I'm a business person, so I understand that. And so that's what happened, right? So then I'm here now, and I've been looking for work. Haven't found anything yet. I'm not disappointed or down. I just know what the market is. I know there's a bit of ageism too. I mean, there's a lot of older guys like myself who are having a tough time finding work. Um, and it's not really, I don't think I'm going to have a tough time finding work. It's having a tough time finding the work I want to do is the key. Now, I'll take anything and I could probably find something right away and take it. But do I want to do it? And will I be happy doing it? And will I be happy spending those 8 hours a day, 40 to 60 hours a week doing that work and giving up my time for the money? Because if I don't really need the money, is it worth giving up the time? And that's what I'm thinking of. Because I do have some savings. I got some decent retirement savings put aside that I can tap into right now. I'm just living off my regular savings right now, and I'm soon going to have to tap into my retirement savings. And the way I structured it, it will last me. It lasts me good, I think, at a minimum, 10 years, and at a maximum, I think I calculated about 18 years took if I took just the minimum amount out. Um, don't have car payments, don't have consumer debt, don't have any of that stuff. So I got rid of all of that stuff. Just have mortgage, um, some lines of credits that have to be paid, but I also have some rental property. That's why I have the line of credits. So I do have some line of property with property income coming in that's paying for a lot of this stuff that I have. Not paying my mortgage, obviously, but it's paying for a lot of stuff. So I can figure out how to, you know, live off of that. May need to downsize, may need to reduce my home size. I live in a pretty decent sized house here, a pretty big house. Um, and really, it's just the wife and I living here. One of my sons is living with me right now. I don't think he'll stay for a long time. I mean, most of my sons are all independent, and my youngest staying with me just because it's convenient and we have the space, and I really like that he's here. I don't live here all the time. This year was the first year I started moving down south during the winter, so I left January, didn't come back until a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, I thought it was going to be warmer. It's still cold here, still really cold. Um, so I've been trying to do that, and I think I'm going to change my lifestyle where I'm going to be living abroad for 6 months out of the year, coming back for the 6 months, the warm months here where I live. And so that's a good option. But I think I'm going to still work, and the kind of work I can get into is remote work. Looking at starting a business with a friend of mine, and if I do that, I'll be doing it remotely. The goal is to grow to a certain point and then sell it off and then be free from it and just have the cash to live off of. So that's the goal of starting the business with a friend. The other option is to do some freelance work, where I'm going to do some consulting, help some businesses grow, have some, you know, um, yeah, really just consulting with them, and make some money to offset, so I don't change my lifestyle too dramatically, and I'm still have some cash coming in to live the lifestyle that I like living, and then or just going back to a full-time job, which I don't. I think that's going to be my last thing. I'm going to give myself a little while before I go back to a full-time job, and just try to enjoy life. And so that's what I am here doing. Um, so can I opt out of this society? I don't know. It's going to be hard. I can go and get a farm somewhere and start farming, but at my age, I don't think my body's going to be able to do it. Yeah, don't think that's reality. I think it's just a nice dream or a thought. And I think the reality is you can for me, is pull myself out to a point where um, I'm self-sufficient in some ways. So having my own business, making my own income, and not depending on a company. And I know it's not easy for some of you, especially if you have young kids. But once those kids are grown to a point where you should think about it changing your life. Um, I mean, some of you might be just happy at your work and work till 65 and then retire, and that's it. I don't want to do that. I've seen too many friends pass away recently, Um, one fellow that I knew in January, I got a, you know, I think I saw it on Facebook, and he, um, yeah, I just saw something that said that he rest in peace, and he was a year older than me, maybe 2 years older than me, and he just didn't wake up. Died in his sleep. And I thought, wow. And that guy's pretty young. And that's not the only one. I've had friends with cancers. I've had friends with heart attacks. A lot of younger people than myself have passed away. And saying that, make sure you go and get your health check and all of that done. I did that last year before because I knew I was going to go down this path of starting to maybe early retire and not having the income to get everything done. And while I still had my benefits and all of that, I made sure I got my full physical, everything done. Actually, when I got my what do they call that? Where you go and you look at your plaque built up in your arteries and your cholesterol levels and all of that. So they did all these scans. I think it took me about 4 hours at the hospital to get it all done, but definitely well worth it to get all of that stuff done. I came back with a clean bill of health. I'm so happy about that. But you never know what else could plague me. And, like they say, tomorrow is never promised, right? That's what my mom and some of the older folks used to always say. Tomorrow's never promised. It's you got to figure you got to make sure that you enjoy today, but you put something away for tomorrow because it's never promised. But yeah, most likely, if you lived into your 50s, probably gonna live a little longer. So yeah, look after yourself too, and but enjoy life. Don't just scroll away, work those 60-hour weeks every week, and do nothing with your life. Don't go anywhere. Don't travel. I know folks that don't even like to travel, that just put their money away and don't do nothing, and they get old and then they can't travel. They can't move around, and that's not going to be me. I've taken the opportunity to do some stuff and travel around, and I've seen quite a lot of the world so far, and there's still more to be seen. And I'm going to continue to do that, but I'm going to do it in a way where I can enjoy life. And I'm going to share that with you and share some of the things I'm going to do. So, yeah, I can't opt out of this society or opt out of this what I'm doing. I need to participate. I need to be part of it because I want a certain lifestyle, and that means I'm going to do some sort of work until I'm fully ready to stop. I mean, look at guys who have done very well in life. Guys like Warren Buffett, right? And not just him alone, but a lot of people who own businesses or grown businesses, and they go to work regularly and work. And yeah, they're not forced to, so maybe that's one reason. They have something, they can get something out of it. But most of these guys could have retired if they wanted to retire. They could have retired a long time. They had millions of, or even billions. They could have just said, yeah, I'm doing nothing. But that's not what life's about. It's about your passions, and not necessarily your passion, but doing what makes you feel alive. And for me, I think doing some sort of work makes me feel alive, and meaningful work. So running my own business of some sort, I think would be very meaningful for me, and seeing it grow and seeing it um, become something, um, I think would make me feel very good about it. So yeah, I think that's the path I'm going to go down, and enjoy life while I'm doing that. And yeah, stay tuned, and we'll talk a bit more about how you can have a better retirement and not just live off your savings and do nothing. Like, try to do something. I always encourage you, even if it's volunteer work, do something that's going to make you happy. Do something that's going to keep you going and moving forward. I think that's what we all need to do. So I'm going to explore all those options with you guys. All right. Looking forward to seeing you. Hope you subscribe. Give me a like if you thought this was a fun video. I'm looking forward to seeing you next time, and we'll have a follow-up conversation, and I'll share with you some of my finances and some of the things I've done to get me to where I am right now. Okay? All right. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.